What is happening, all 100,000 of you LARPers out there? Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we have a very special video for you guys. As you can see, we have James Ferguson of XMTG here, and we are at his amazing facility south of Dallas, Texas, where he's made this compound made of shipping containers. It looks like a Tetris system here, but it's a sniper's dream. And I'm just really excited to go over some scoped carbine stuff and talk a little bit with him about how to train and what you can expect if you sign up for one of his courses, which I highly recommend you sign up for one of his courses. So James, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself for those folks who haven't seen our previous video with the GPRs, and then we'll talk a little bit about what we can kind of expect to go over during one of your classes and what we're gonna go through, what drills we're gonna go through today.
Sure. For those of you that didn't see the last video, my name's James Ferguson, retired, 30 years law enforcement, 24 years on SWAT, sniper for 23 years, and also a range master for our team or for our department. Full-time range master for 10 years. So a lot of firearms training over my career.
Nice. And today we're going to be going over some of the drills that you guys covered during your precision rifle or scope carbine course, right?
Yes.
So what's kind of the flow of the video going to be like?
So we've already zeroed his rifle, make sure it was good to go. And then we're going to gather his data out to at least 700 yards, maybe 800 yards. And then from that point, we're going to engage some multiple distance targets and then move into some improvised positional work.
So what I want to get across to you guys is, like James and I were talking about this earlier, is that most people in America who own firearms own a 16-inch or a 14.5 or some variant of a 5.56 rifle. And of course, if we came out here with 308 or 6.5, people are gonna say, oh, of course you could shoot these distances with these rifles. But a lot of people don't realize how capable these rifles are.
Correct.
With a good bullet, good glass, you can actually come out and perform in one of these classes and learn your dope, learn what these weapons are capable of, and be proficient out to these distances that he's talking about. So we're running some AAC 77 grain open tip match ammunition, and I am running the HK MR556. This gun has been outfitted with the Otter Creek Labs OCM5, and we'll go over more of the setup at the end, but more importantly, the glass is the EOTech Voodoo 1-10 LPVO. So with just a 10x magnification top end, we'll see what we can do. I'm not promising anything. We'll see. I'm not going to be able to outshoot the gun, but I'll do my best, and I'll be happy if we can get consistent, accurate hits out to 700 yards, again, with a 16.5-inch gun chambered in 5.56. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and confirm my dope out to those distances, and then afterwards, we're going to go ahead and engage multiple targets at multiple distances for time.
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Sweet. Let's go. All right, we'll cut that part out. So guys, we got to pay the bills and keep the lights on. So with that being said, I want to give a big shout out to Brownells, the biggest sponsor of the channel. If you want to support the channel, head on over to brownells.com, use bro code RDB10. Saves you guys 10% off over there. And also Downrange Thermal for providing the EOTech for this review. That's RDB5 for Downrange Thermal. Saves you guys 5% off at Downrange Thermal. You got anything you want to plug, James?
Visit our website, xmtgllc.com. Sign up for one of our upcoming classes. We've got scoped carbine coming up at the end of this month, and then we have some other things in the fall on the schedule.
Yeah, and you could do a lot of these same drills, get to use this amazing facility.
Yep.
Also, follow him on Instagram, follow him on YouTube. He's got some amazing content out there.
All right, so I'm going to talk about positional work, Range Day Bro, for a minute. Remember we talked about off camera being in line behind the rifle for recoil management?
Yep.
And so you've got in your position, and if we run a straight line through the rifle here, it's coming through and about right here on your right buttocks, all right? It needs to be in line with your spine, and where if we draw the straight line, it's going to be coming out in here somewhere. And so what that does is, yeah, that's way better. That's going to allow you to absorb the recoil straight into your body, and you may have a little vertical jump, but you will be back on target faster than if you're canted and the buttstock slips out of your shoulder. So you lose your shoulder to rifle connection. Spotter's ready.
Going hot, holding 2 mils. Clean shot.
You hit the top of the plate. So
come down?
Yeah, you probably need to be about 1.2, 1.5.
Going 1.5.
That's hit center of the plate. Good on windage. Okay, you were just off the left edge. So if you're split the difference between center and edge. That was off the left edge. Send it center. Hit.
Confirmation.
Send another one.
Right
see
edge.
That one?
I saw it off the right edge.
Yeah, right edge. Wind picked up on you a little bit.
That was low, right?
That was low. Check your natural point of aim. And then break that shot at your natural respiratory pause. So we've got the wind picking up a little bit. That was way right. All right, take a break.
Let me make sure this is, oh, this is your FMJ.
That's why we're hitting all around
I grabbed
it.
your mic. Yeah, I grabbed your mag. So it's actually only shooting some FMJ, which is the reason for those inconsistencies. So let's see if we can get back on it. 420.
Impact. That was dead center. Send it again. Impact. Solid hits.
So we just swapped out the HK, the infamous HK stock for the B5 stock because this mount is a little bit high. This Badger's a 1.7 and the HK upper is also a little bit higher than a normal AR-15 upper. That's much better.
Impact. Windage was perfect. Come up to 3.7. Impact. Almost in the green. Come up to 4. Impact in the green.
Nice. And that's 500 yards?
520.
Nice.
So we're going to go to A7. It's to the right of A6.
I can't see it from proned out right here.
All right, then let's go to A8. Far left side of A6. You should be able to see tops of the plate. Grass has grown up about covering half the plates from your position. And we're going to shoot at that middle 18-inch plate. So that's going to be 720 yards. 7.5.
Okay, got it. 7.5. Left edge or 5 mile?
Let's do 1 mil left. Did you see your impact?
No, was it an impact?
No, we were to the left of it, so 0.5 mil left. Elevation's perfect, 0.5 mil left. Impact in the green.
Hell yeah.
Send it again.
That was just left edge.
It's another impact. I can't tell where due to mirage. That was a hit. Hit.
That looked like left side to me.
I could see that hit there.
That was a more solid hit than the first one.
Okay, great. So now we have our dope out to 700 yards. So let's do some more rapid engagement at different distances.
You've got 7 small targets, small silhouette targets out in front, and they range in distance from 230 to 280. And you are going to have to engage all 7 of those targets under time. A couple of different ways you can do it. You can hold for everything, or you can dial for one of the distances, either typically your closest or farthest, and hold for the rest of the distances. The benefit to dialing for your closest and then holding is you're going to have less of a hold. But overall, the holds are not going to be very much.
Two hits, going left, going a little higher. Hit. 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 Last one on the back left. Hit.
26.51. That was clean, right?
Yeah, that was a clean run. But still, I'm pretty happy with that. Now, obviously, we're proned out. Ideal scenario, bagged. Yep. So I guess if we do that again from some improvised positions, that's going to look a little different, be a little more difficult.
Yes, we are going to do this same drill, improvised positions, because what most shooters that run precision guns, they spend way too much time on their belly on a bipod. Very rarely are your engagements going to be like this. You're going to be in some sort of improvised position or using a tripod.
Yeah.
And so why do we not practice that? Because we like to do what we're good at.
Yeah.
And we're good at this.
Yeah, it's easier. Yeah,
it's easier.
And all your time in the SWAT teams, how many times were you able to deploy in the prone?
4 times.
In how many years?
23 years as an operational sniper.
4 times.
4 times prone. So, everything else was from a kneeling to a standing position, and that was back before we had weapon-mounted tripods. The first part of my career, we did not have the current tripods that we have now, and so it was really improvised positional work.
Here we go.
Okay. Hit. You hit number 1 again. Hit. That was a miss. Hit. 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 Hit.
22.96. So not my best time. But this is definitely one of the funnest drills we run. But we could lay here all day and shoot like this. But let's do some improvised stuff.
All right, let's do it. All right, so on positional work, if you remember when we were shooting the prone position, your hips were square behind your rifle and pointed at your target. You're going to do the same thing here in positional work. What a lot of shooters tend to do is when they come up to shoot positional is they'll blade. You want to, when you approach the window, look at your target, point your hips at your target, and then build your position with your hips pointed at the target. Square up. And if you need to get lower, you just spread your stance out. Or if you need to come up a little bit, bring your stance in a little bit. But keeping yourself square to the target is the most important thing of building that position. And so how I would do it is I come in, look at my target, throw my rifle down. I'm looking over my glass, over my scope turret, finding my target, and then drop my head into the glass.
One of the things I love most about these Samson Manufacturing vertical foregrips is because you could just really easily, without a tool, remove them. So if we're running a bag like we are here, I have a flat surface for that bag to engage with. So I really love that you can just take this off very easily, throw it in a pouch, and then run more precision work with it. So we're going to do 3 targets on the right from this position. We'll go to the top position, do the 3 left targets, and then the last window, we're going to do that last hanger in the middle.
Correct.
Okay.
Shooter, stand by.
Hanger.
Hanger.
Got it. Whew.
59.49.
Man, that is not easy.
It's a different world when you get off your belly, right? So I'm square to the targets, and I'm going to build my position as I come into it. So what Range Day Bro was talking about is loading into the target or the barricade. So what I'm actually doing is I have the weight, my body weight on my hand loading into the barricade, and I've got contact with the front end of the rifle just to make sure I'm on the bag. If that doesn't work for you, you can actually let your weight go onto the rifle, clamp down on top of the rifle into your bag. And for me, that creates more wobble because I'm putting more pressure on the front end of the gun. So I like to support my body weight on the barricade and just let enough body weight go into the rifle to stabilize it. If I'm canted just a little bit, like my natural point of aim is off, so I can adjust that natural point of aim by adjusting my hips over, and that makes the wobble zone even better. Just a little bit of input. You're putting more pressure up here, it's going to affect it. You're putting more pressure back here, it's going to affect it. You got to find out that happy medium of pressure on the rifle that gives you the least wobble zone.
All right, guys, so we already shot a little bit of improvised positions. Now we're going to up the ante a little bit. We have some vertical windows here that are a little bit tighter. Because this is a little bit more of a difficult shot, we're going to be doing 120
yards. So you're going to start, you got to shoot from the square, then you've got the diamond and then the triangle. And so to shoot from the square, you're going to have to stand in. So in this scenario, you are finding things locally to build your position to shoot out of that opening because that's all that's available. So you build your position, you're going to use these chairs to get up there, hit that target. Weapon on safe, move down from there, push the chairs out of the way, and finish the other 2 stages. Stand by. Hit. Hit. Weapon on safe. 29 and some change.
Wow. learned real quick that last one was a little too tight for that bag. So
Yeah.
had to improvise.
This is just continuing our improvised position work because rarely when you're out in the field are you going to shoot from a prone position and use your bipod. So this is just something different. You've got this barrel. You've got a lot of functions you have to do on this barrel. You've got to stabilize the position because that's a movable prop, okay? So you got to stabilize the prop and then build your position on top of it so you're doing multiple things at one time, and you may have to hold for wind or elevation as well.
Okay. And just so everybody knows, we're doing all these runs dry. I have not shot from any of these improvised positions yet, so don't judge me too harshly if I look like I'm stumbling through it, because until you do it, I mean, there's so many things that I'm learning as we go, but I feel like that's the best way to learn.
Yeah, you are seeing his first attempt at everything that I've asked him to do.
Yeah. So, and these targets are reduced C-zone targets at 230 to 280 yards?
Yes.
So
230 and 280.
230 to 280. So that's about, what, that wide?
They are 7 inches wide, 14 inches tall.
There you go. So we'll see how we do for time. Come on.
Calm down. There you go. Hit.
Wow.
Good. Man, is that one hanger? It's your nemesis.
It is, man. Well, plus, once I started, I needed to adjust my base as well, which I wasn't doing. And then that's when I started turning the gun. That's when the magazine kept hitting the barrel right here and just wanted to turn it.
And you didn't rotate your hips with it.
No, I did not. So let's run it one more time. Wow. I feel like I've been getting lucky in the last one. I'm just timing it right.
Yeah, 27.84, better time. But that hanger is still your nemesis.
Yeah, I missed it twice that time, right?
Yes. But you had a good pace going. You had a really good time going until you hit that.
Yeah.
All right, so if I'm going to shoot one knee up, I'm going to get one knee up. If you come around here to my right side, or you can see what I'm doing, now I've got support. And so I'm stabilizing the back end of the rifle. Some people are not this flexible, and I can even bring it in here, and actually that stabilizes it a little more, and it's a little more comfortable. But my hips aren't pointing at the target. So if I just relax, the rifle drifts off and points over here. So I'm going to adjust everything over. Now I am relaxed, and the reticle is pointing at the double targets. Learn how to build a position that works for you. Learn what your natural point of aim is in every position. The more you shoot it, the easier it gets, and you'll be able to come up behind it where your hips are pointing at the target, drop down, build your position, get a good shoulder to rifle connection, and start sending lead. You can deploy your bipod, get it up high over here, and then you got no support in the rear. But you got a wide stance, you got all these different things.
Yeah.
And you can play with building your position, because in class, we're going to, hey, this is a position you're going to shoot out of. Guns are unloaded. Build a position. Find out what works for you.
So play around with it.
Play around. Try out what works for you before a round ever goes down range.
So you allow your students to do that?
Yes.
You don't embarrass them?
No.
Let them run dry like you're embarrassing me?
You're a pro. Do you know what you're going to do?
Yep. I'm going to deploy my bipod for this first run. I'm going to deploy my bipod and see how it goes.
Okay. Stand by.
Man, I can't miss that last one now. I'm just sending them too.
28.41.
How'd that look?
That looked fine. So you used your bipod deployed to push
Yep.
Onto this barricade, works great.
Okay. What would you have done?
That looked pretty dang good.
I thought so too.
Yeah, because you had support back here with your forearms. And the only thing, I don't know, maybe you could have brought the bag farther back to help.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice it. I just got down, squared up, started leaning.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, this is pretty stable. Felt pretty easy.
I wouldn't have changed anything.
Okay.
That was good.
Did you hear that?
That was a good run.
I wouldn't have changed a damn thing either.
Having your scope on one power.
Yep.
And when you get behind it, then you power up, because that's probably how you're going to be deploying that LPVO is on one power. Process versus the outcome. And I didn't create that. I heard that from Joe from Bruiser Industries. I want to give him credit.
Shout out to Bruiser.
Are you gaming, doing what you need to win the game? Or are you concerned about the process getting there? Training.
Like you would in the real world.
Correct.
Okay.
The process is...
Just like I'm not strapping this to my gun, because that would be about the end goal versus the process.
That'd be about results, not the process.
Yeah. So that's why I'm going to start on 1X, and I'm going to start with this bag in my hand, which is probably how I'm going to deploy. All right,
here we go.
All right, guys, thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. We're going to talk about kind of a recap of what we did today, some of the things I learned. We'll talk about the rifle setup as well. But before I talk about the rifle, I did just want to say thank you to James for having me out here. If you guys have the opportunity to come out here and train with him, I highly recommend it. This facility is world-class, and it really gives you the opportunity to test your skills, learn your dope, and just get to know your rifle intimately in the best way possible. As you saw earlier in the video, ammunition matters. FMJ sucks. So buy some good 77 grain open tip match or boat tail hollow point. That makes a big difference. Get some good glass, and pretty much any cheap AR-15 with a 14.5 or 16-inch gun barrel can come out here and shoot out to 700 yards as we showed today.
You can make it work.
Yeah.
You know, if you've got the lower end AR, you may be hitting a bigger steel target at 7 than the high end ARs, but you can get it there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't do a ton of work out to 7. We just shot proned out. It would be very difficult to hit 700 yards off an improvised position.
Yes.
And if you're shooting something at 700 yards, you should have some time to get proned out or find a better, more stable shooting position than something like we were training today. But I digress. Most engagements are going to happen between 50 and 200 probably. But we're not talking scenarios, so
no,
we won't
get
talk
into that.
We'll spend all day on that. But one of the things that surprised me the most when I had a barricade like that chair, but I couldn't load, that was something I had never experienced before, that I never trained. So that was probably the biggest learning moment for me, was figuring out how to adapt and overcome that challenge, because loading is the #1 way that I stabilize my wobble zone, so to speak. So
yeah.
How did you think I did? What was some feedback you had?
Oh, overall, you did very well. You can see that, like your first run, the drills that we ran multiple times, your first run was a little rusty. But once you figured out how to stabilize the position, you just improved every time. And the takeaway to that is you got to get out and train.
Yeah.
You can spend all the money in the world on all this high-end equipment, and if you don't go and train, it's not going to matter.
You're going to be an expensive loot drop. That's right. So the biggest thing is come out and train. Shooting is a diminishing skill, just like language. If you don't use it, you lose it. So it doesn't matter what you did in the past. I know there's a lot of guys who hang their hat on that, but I'm just a civilian, and I mean, shit. How do I shoot compared to some of the SWAT team snipers you have out here?
You shoot better than some, worse than some.
Okay. So middle of the pack is where I want to stay. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm very proud of that, being that I don't have any formal training besides what I've taken upon myself to come out here and do. And again, I encourage anybody, civilian, law enforcement, whatever it is, but especially civilians, it's really important for you guys to get out here and train. It's our duty to uphold freedom from whoever wants to take that. So with that being said, let's talk about the rifle here. This is a rifle that for a long time I felt was kind of useless because it is such a heavy front end gun. And I didn't feel like it could do anything particularly better than something like a direct impingement gun could do, but it was incredibly accurate. So with the help of the guys over at Otter Creek Labs, Andrew, he sent me this over the barrel muzzle device, so I was able to use my favorite can, the OCM5 on here. This can is absolutely phenomenal. accurate as all get out. A return to zero is phenomenal. There's very, very little point of impact shift, and it's super quiet. So that's what I'm running up here in the front with a over-the-barrel flash hider underneath. It's still very hot, so I'm not going to take it off. We have a Magpul bipod. Some people love them, some people hate them. It's on an American Defense Manufacturing QD mount, so I can move it around to different rifles because bipods get pretty expensive. So that's a nice little hack there to be able to move it around. Running a Samson Manufacturing vertical foregrip on a Geisley rail. Rain 3.0. This is a 100,000 Candela light with their light switch. This is their old style switch, but still a really good light. Really enjoy that. And then moving back from there, we have the EOTech Voodoo 1 to 10. This was provided by Downrange Thermal, so big shout out to them. I am falling in love with this optic. It is extremely versatile. As you guys saw, we shot up to 700 yards with this thing. It is sitting in a Badger Condition 1 mount at a 1.74, I believe it is, which makes it a little bit tall with the taller upper receiver of the HK here, but phenomenal mount here. And with the help of the B5 stock here that I borrowed from James, because this just wasn't cutting it. I wasn't getting enough of a cheek weld, and my neck was getting really sore, especially proned out shooting it. So we threw this guy on there, and I fell in love with it. So he cost me some money today, because I'm definitely going to pick one of those up. But the rest of this gun is completely stock HK. It's got a stock trigger in it, stock charging handle, obviously stock BCG and all that good stuff. And then we have a Law Tactical folder on here, guys. This is just the regular AR-15 folder. It works with the HK, and I love these things. It makes a long gun not so long. And just the HK stock on here, and also a HK grip. I don't know which version this is, but it's not the one that came with it. It comes with a Magpul K2. So James, you want to tell everyone where they could find you on YouTube and Instagram?
Sure. XMTG Firearms Training Academy. If you search us on YouTube or Instagram, we should pop up.
Okay, awesome. And then any upcoming courses, or like what courses do you have? Do you have a scope carbine course consistently throughout the year?
Yes, we've got several scope carbine courses scheduled throughout the year. We've got basic sniper courses, intermediate sniper courses. We've got handgun and carbine, just red dot courses as well.
Yeah, I highly encourage anybody who's interested in taking their training seriously to come out here. It's not very far from Dallas, so if you're from out of town, you can fly into Dallas. There's hotels nearby, and it's just a one-of-a-kind facility. I've been all over the country at different training facilities, and this is absolutely one of the best I've been to. So thank you so much for having me, brother.
Enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. If you guys do want to support the channel, Brownell is the biggest supporter of the channel, so RDB10 saves you guys 10% off over there, as well as Downrange Thermal, RDB5 saves you 5% off over there. And then lastly, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I know it's cheesy, but it really does help promote these videos in the algorithm, guys. All right, y'all, stay safe, stay dangerous. Range Day Bro, out.